Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to the final episode of this year's Road to Yu-Gi-Oh! 9. We are expecting tonight, December 20th, at Jump Festa, a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Show to be announced. Now, we might get another year of Go Rush. It's not confirmed that we are getting a new show, but unless Go Rush goes for more than 3 years, we are anticipating Yu-Gi-Oh! 9. We will be live on the channel, but I wanted to do one final episode where I sit down with someone we don't usually get to hear from too often here, and that is someone who did not watch Sevens or Go Rush, someone who was a big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Prior to Rush. If you are an old fan of this channel, you might remember him. His name is Bam255. He was actually on the channel a few days before Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens was announced, and I decided to bring him back on, get his perspective of what he would be looking for in a potential new Yu-Gi-Oh! Show that might reel him back in. Without further ado, let's jump into the discussion. Leave your final predictions for Jump Festa down below, and I hope you enjoy.
So I guess like to explain the full picture of like why someone might have not liked the new format of Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. I think I'm pretty sure we spoke about this, but I got off of Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably around after 5Ds. I didn't realize that Yu-Gi-Oh! GX had a season 4 and 5Ds had a couple episodes that they never dubbed. So once I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I guess that's when VRAINS started as well. And that's your reviews or podcast reviews. So VRAINS actually got me back because it looked more like the 5D's era, you know, more. I mean, it's still a kid show at the end of the day selling cards, but it felt more early adult, teenage. Think.
Yeah, early adult. Yeah, I got you.
So I come back for VRAINS and I enjoy it, and then I hear. I'm pretty sure you remember when we started hearing that VRAINS is going to get cut short because of
Yep. Oh yeah. They didn't really even give us a reason ever. They just
That already has like a bad taste in my mouth. That one of the shows that got me back in is about to get cut short. Jump Festa happens. I'm pretty sure you remember that night because you streamed that night.
Yes.
When they introduced Yu-Gi-Oh! 7. So you can only imagine that someone that came back with VRAINS, it getting cut short, and then the next thing is Sevens. I first kind of want to make it clear that I'm not. If you like Sevens and Go Rush, I'm happy because that's. I know there's a great deal of people that like it, but it just felt kind of like it felt like a slap to the face, you know, coming back into the fandom. And I tried to give Sevens a couple episodes, but I just could never get into it.
No, that's fair. I mean, I think a lot of people, you know, with VRAINS obviously ending 6 months earlier than expected, and the tagline for what ended up being Sevens was it was going to be a show that was going to celebrate 20 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! So a lot of people, including myself, were very excited for that because we thought that it was going to be maybe some big, you know, collaboration show, or it was just going to be something that was going to do just that, honor 20 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! And then what we got was a studio change. We got a format change. The show looked totally different. Honestly, the first trailer of Sevens I still think is a very ugly looking trailer. I don't think it did it much justice. And so I think there was a lot of negative feelings towards Sevens because of the advertising that Konami was doing regarding this being a 20-year celebratory show, and then, you know, VRAINS ends early, and then we get something that is just totally unexpected.
I think the best way I can like compare it to, and it's not like one-to-one, but like if you were a Teen Titans fan, I don't know if you know the 2004 show, but then you get Teen Titans Go. That's what I kind of felt like. And I know Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s isn't like that drastically of a difference, but it was still like a big change for someone that was into it.
Yeah, no, it 100% was a big change. And as someone who has genuinely enjoyed Sevens and Go Rush, I've liked Go Rush more than Sevens personally, but I did enjoy both of those shows. I mean, yeah. Now, listen, obviously, it's still Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, there are, you know, people out there that say, oh, it's not even Yu-Gi-Oh! It's you know, it's just a side show. No, I mean, I think that's crazy. It still is Yu-Gi-Oh! And even though I've enjoyed both of them, like, it is a totally different change. The game changed. The looks of the series changed. The tone was a pretty major tonal shift from VRAINS to Sevens especially, while Go Rush has been a little more serious and darker at times, certainly than Sevens was. You know, going from VRAINS, which was very high octane and serious every episode, maybe almost to a fault, and then you go to Sevens, which is a lot more kind of lighthearted and almost slice of life-ish for a great deal of it, especially early going. You know, it was a major shift for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Animated franchise. I think the most drastic we've ever had, and probably the most drastic we ever will have.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm a GX fan. Like, I like GX more than the original Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's why I was like, all right, let me give it a shot. Because I'm like, if you remember the first few, I guess, season of GX, it was lighthearted, slice of life. But there's also, it picked up with like
Yeah, Fubuki and then the Shadow Riders. Yeah, it
Shadow
did pick
Riders.
up, but it took a while, man. That first season of GX was
And I guess it's because, I mean, I was a kid at the time, so maybe that's why I had more of a tolerance for it, I guess, than I do when the Sevens came out.
Right. Well, and to be fair, though, you know, Brian, like, I mean, the show, you know, with Sevens was definitely aimed at a younger audience. And so maybe with that younger audience, they kind of view it similarly to how you and a lot of others might view GX, you know, because it was more kind of comedy focused rather than I mean, definitely more so than GX was, but, you know, goofy in their own ways for sure.
Yeah, I get that. At the end of the day, this is Yu-Gi-Oh's it's targeted towards a younger demographic, because you gotta replace the people that leave your fandom every year. So I understood that part, and there are some things that I really like what the new series are doing. Like when I hear your list and you say the only your top 50 duelists, and it wasn't only 2 female characters came from this current iteration of Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would say that like with girl characters, I think it's very hard to argue that they have not drastically improved with this studio change. I mean, that I think is the most drastic thing that has changed. The girl characters just throughout the shows being way more way more like capable as duelists and as characters. And like, you used to have shows like GX, you had Asuka, and that was pretty much it. I mean, maybe Blair, but like, come on. And then with 5Ds, like, you had Aki and then Misty for a little bit, Sherry for a little bit, but now you have a bunch of different girl characters that are all capable and confident duelists. And like, if I made a top 10 girls list in Yu-Gi-Oh, I think more than 50% of that list would be Studio Bridge, Sevens, and Go Rush girls. So that is definitely something that has positively changed with the studio changing for sure.
And that's something that I want, if we were to go back to, I guess, my era of Yu-Gi-Oh, that's something that I want to carry over and improve. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not all negative about this new era, but it's like, I guess it's just not for me. If that makes sense.
No, it does make sense, man. And that's why that's why I'm bringing you on the channel, because, you know, there are people that are just so blindly negative, but I know you, I've known you for a very long time, and I know that you're not one of those people, and I know you do view the show in a very fair way, even though the shows have not garnered your attention, and have not been able to keep your attention. And I think that is a really, really unique perspective that I don't often get on this channel, even though I know there are plenty of people that exist that have the same sentiment as you, whether it comes from a place of negativity or more like you, it comes from a place of just not being able to get into it. So my question for you, man, as we are, you know, really at almost the end here on the road to Yu-Gi-Oh! 9, unless we get, of course, Go Rush Season 4, which I guess is a possibility. What are you hoping we get out of this year's Jump Festa, and like, what do you think you need to see that would maybe hook you to watch the next show?
I think right now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Go Rush is like that's kind of like elementary, right? The characters are around elementary or middle school age.
Yeah, so it's a weird mix. The characters are like, yeah, elementary school age, but the main character Yugioh and the rival Yugioh, they're all aliens, so they're like infinite age.
Okay, I think for me, it's like if we can go back to because you say, I guess you say was when in 5Ds, you never really clear up his age, but I guess late teens, right?
Yeah, late teens. I think he was like 19ish, if I remember.
I think for me, if the protagonist or the main group were in late teens, because I think if you have like late teens, you can do more of a serious take with them than characters that are still in the younger ages. Because you can go to more of a serious tones with those kind of characters. And like, I'm not talking about making the characters adults, because at the end of the day, you still gotta kind of bridge the gap with the younger audience, and you can't do that. Well, I don't know, maybe you could, but I don't think with Yugioh you could do that with an adult protagonist.
Right.
I think I would kind of like meet in a halfway with like maybe a 16 to 18-year-old range, so I could get that more serious take, I guess, with the lightheartedness that you can still have. My main one is kind of like an older protagonist to kind of have those serious tones.
Now, older, not older in a human sense, because obviously Yugioh is like hundreds of years old, but you mean older in like a human sense, obviously.
Yeah, human sense.
No, you're good. A lot of people say that like what's gonna get them back is master rule and not rush. And I don't know if you have an opinion on what style of Yugioh is played. I also will say this. I think there's a lot of people that are misconstrued in believing that if we get another master rule anime, it automatically means that the old style of Yugioh is coming back. Where if Yu-Gi-Oh! 9 is focused on master dueling and not rush dueling, all of a sudden the characters are going to look the way they did in VRAINS or Arc 5 or Zexal or 5Ds. Meanwhile, like, I think that style is maybe gone. I don't know if we're ever going to get that style back in a weekly long running series. So that's an element that I think people are just misconstrued about. That master rule means we get that old design style back, which I don't think is going to be the case, because we've changed studios, and I think the studio is going to keep that style no matter what format it is. So I'd like to know what you think about that. I mean, is it the style of how the characters look that's been like a turnoff for you or hard to get into, or is it the rush dueling or versus the master dueling? I mean, what are your thoughts on all of that?
The style does play a part in it, but I think I could appreciate it more, like I said, with an older and serious tone to it. Now with rush duel and master duel, I really don't have a preference. Maybe just based on nostalgia, master duel. If they wanted to continue using rush rules, I'd be fine with that. Or even if they wanted to use it's speed dueling, right? That's also out there at the moment, I believe.
Yeah, it's speed dueling, and VRAINS did something where obviously they had speed dueling. They also had the standard master dueling. And that's something that I've talked about a lot on this channel and on this series, The Road to Yu-Gi-Oh! 9, where I think it's possible that we get a hybrid show where we have rush dueling and master dueling both focused on. Now, rush duel could be the primary focus, but I think having master duels every so often would maybe have players that are only interested in watching a master duel anime interested in the show, because you never know when that master duel anime is going to show up, and you don't know what new support or archetype support you might get in those duels. So I think that would be a good idea. I know it's harder to implement than VRAINS with speed dueling and master dueling, because it's still the same card pool, it's still the same game, just with a smaller board. Rush and Master are very different games. They're totally different games, just under the Yu-Gi-Oh! Umbrella, so I know it would be harder to pull off.
But I'd be okay with that. Another thing, too, that I don't want to happen, I don't want the Rush fans to get, what's the word? Alienated? Like how I was from the change. I guess what I'm saying, I don't want like the people that are greatly enjoying this era of Yu-Gi-Oh! To I don't want them to go through what I went through. I could go
Right,
back,
right, right.
but I don't want to. I don't want to take someone's enjoyment away to get what I want. You know.
No, I got you, and that's a very that's very empathetic to feel that way. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think, you know, that's why I think a series with both formats at play could really work, and I think the other way you solve that, and man, wouldn't this be a dream? 2 Yu-Gi-Oh anime running simultaneously, a Master one and a Rush one. I mean, that'll never happen, but man, wouldn't that be the coolest freaking thing in the world? There's a, you know, almost less than 1% chance of that happening, but, you know, that would be really cool. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like, Rush Duel still is in its infancy stage, and there are a lot of people that have enjoyed it, and it is a shame that we've never gotten it here in the West and in the TCG era countries, and the only way to play it is Duel Links. And if you remove the anime from Rush totally and give it back to Master, you know, what's next for Rush? Because it's going to be hard to promote that game, especially when it's not accessible here in the United States or, you know, wherever you are, if it's a TCG country. So yeah, it's a tough position. And you know what? That kind of brings me to the final question I have for you, Brian. A lot of people have said maybe another year of Go Rush. A lot of people have said another Rush Duel anime. A lot of people have said maybe it goes back to Master Rule. What is your prediction? This is the big one, man. What is your prediction for what is going to happen at Jump Festa in just a couple of days?
I think it's the Honor Rush season.
Okay, do you think it's Go Rush Season 4, or do you think it's a new show?
I think it's a new show. It's still in the same format, because
Same, yeah.
Because, I mean, like you said, it's in its infancy stage, and knowing Konami, I don't think they want to give up on it just yet. But I will say, I think to appease, I guess, like, fans like me, maybe this is like a copium kicking in, but I think maybe they'll give us a bone, like, in the animated movie.
Oh my God, let's go, man. Yes, we need a movie. And you know what? If they announce a movie alongside a new Rush show, I think a lot of people would be very happy. Like, I think the Master Rule fans and kind of that old Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, sect that maybe has not followed through these Rush shows would be very happy, depending on, of course, what the movie was. I think a movie is such a great idea, man. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and that's like what I hope for, because then you keep both sides get something, you know, and I think that's what I kind of want. I mean, would I want a anime that reminds me of VRAINS? Yeah, but like I said, I just don't want to take other people's enjoyment away as well. So if we can get something meet in the middle, then I'll be very happy.
You're a very nice guy, man. I will say a lot of people in fandoms, you know, they don't consider the feelings of people that are enjoying something that they are not enjoying. That is very rare to see. And again, that's the reason why I'm sure a lot of people will look at the title of this video and say, oh, why is Dylan bringing a Rush hater on? And that's not at all what you are. And hopefully people take the time to listen to what you said, because if they listen to you for a minute, they'll realize, oh, this isn't a guy who hates on the Rush shows. It's just someone who genuinely can't get into it. And that's why I had you on. I wouldn't have someone who just blatantly hates the shows on this channel, because I just don't think there's so much of it on the internet. I don't think people need more of that. But but anyway, man, you know, great talking to you as always. Hopefully we can have you on a live show soon. Obviously we live on pretty much other sides of the country, so that's difficult. But Brian has been a very, very good friend of mine. Bam, obviously, a legend on the channel. Literally every time we're in the stream, you know, I have a Legends tab going, and I think you're going to be on that Legends tab for probably the existence of the channel. The amount of support this man has given me over the years in many different ways, I am very, very grateful for him. And yeah, man, listen, Jump Fest in a couple of days. The Yu-Gi-Oh landscape is going to change forever, potentially, and I appreciate you taking time out of the busy holiday season to chat with me. Is there any final words you kind of want to say here? Anything you want to promote? The floor is yours here, man.
The thing that I kind of wanted to do this is I didn't want to get lumped into people like hating just to hate. I kind of wanted to show the sides, like, yeah, I mean, it's not for me, but like to see the honor side, you know, like the honor side isn't as bad as minority that have loud voices, I guess. But like I said, I love your community, and I just kind of wanted to show that perspective.
No, dude, I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, listen, hopefully Yu-Gi-Oh! 9 hooks you. Hopefully it hooks a lot of people. And hopefully, people new and old come back to the show. I mean, that's what I always hope for. I'd always love, every time a new show gets announced, I always hope that it reels in. It not only keeps the people that have watched for a very long time, but it reels new people in and people in that have maybe dropped the show, this franchise at a certain point, whether that was after Arc 5, after VRAINS, after Zexal, after 5Ds, after 7s. That's always my hope, because I want the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime community to be as wonderful and as large as possible, because there's so many great people with so many great voices out there. So, Brian, thank you so much, my man. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great holiday season. And for everybody that watched, this is going to conclude the series of Road to Yu-Gi-Oh! 9. I hope you enjoyed, and maybe we'll be doing more Road to Yu-Gi-Oh! 9 videos next year if we actually do get another season of Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush. So we'll see about that. But again, Jump Festa, we will be live this coming Friday, December 20th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do not miss it. Big announcements, big news, could change the franchise forever. Brian, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, everyone.